keep it away from the blue side this time around, being on the red, and things are settling in to be at least normal for now. LeBlanc, the second ban there for Vici.
It's the new normal, Pace Jam. It's the new normal where Karma, Ashe, every champion comes in. You just have to work out what it does and what it contributes to a comp. LeBlanc is the second ban, so a lot of bans coming through to Wayless.
Yeah, I mean, he played a fine game at Town Cassidy. Late game was spectacular, but definitely struggled a bit in the earlier stages. I like the Maokai ban there from LGD. Was a strong pick actually for Vici. Yeah, they're on carry in the top side of the map, so take that away from them. Possibly unlock a couple more assassins in the mid lane there for Godfrey. Curious to see what else happens here, because again, we had one crazy draft and maybe things will normalize slightly. And for me, Vici, mid-game looked great. They were still rotating like the team that we've seen in the last few weeks, but the early game just not quite there, so get back to that aggression.
Yeah, worth knowing that Flame has stepped in for Acorn despite the victory again. Never really sure who you're going to see in the top lane, but it's the return of Flame. Will we finally see the Flame cannon that we've hoped and prayed for 10 weeks of the LPL so far? Ari's the third ban, so Godfrey, 3 targeted bans come through. His mid lane champion pool, not necessarily decimated because we've already established that he's played 17 champions in competitive already. He'll have something different.
I think Attic won last game as well with the Cassidy mid particularly, so
18.
Yep, you know, not too shabby as far as depth goes. Certainly trying to be unique before it was cool, I guess, here on 5.6. But literally the last ban there from LGD. Love that takeaway from Dandy. As I've said, if you're going to take away one jungle champion, it should probably be the Nidalee. But Dandy might just take up the Rek'Sai that was banned last game.
Okay, but they have a hard decision. They first picked Hecarim over champions like Rek'Sai in their first game of this weekend, but no, they lock it in. So that is the Rek'Sai lock-in coming through. They prioritize that over the Hecarim this time around.
I saw Flame. He flashes the cannon. Now that's what everybody wants. Flame currently sitting with the teleport smite summoner zone. We've seen this already. That's not a holdover from the last game, I don't think. Maybe he's been practicing in some custom games. Who knows? But we'll see what Flame wants to do. TBQ, of course, hovering the Xin Zhao, because why not? That's something we haven't seen yet. He's like, what champions haven't we seen? Maybe that's LGD's strategy. What can we get into competitive?
I mean, Xin Zhao would again be another one coming through. PYL looking to pick away the Janna from Mata. Makes a lot of sense. Definitely Xin is the Chinese Mata in terms of his support excellence. Last second change away to something we have seen this season. Of course, Insect loves that jungle Kha'Zix, and TBQ, he'll be giving it a go this game.
And I think I can see Flame kind of nudging his teammate TBQ. They're saying, hey, you know what you did to people. They wanted to see the Xin Zhao. It is Janna Kha'Zix, the first 2 picks for LGD.
Not too much to take away from that. Kha'Zix, it's probably going to be a jungle Kha'Zix. I guess there's the potential of a lane Kha'Zix coming through. Probably going to have to go for a full AD build. So you know there's going to be a lot of damage potential, but not a lot of tankiness coming out from the jungle.
Yeah, and we saw actually the opposite of that in the last game for LGD. Big full tank Rengar coming through, but we've talked a lot about Cinderhawk junglers. That's not Kha'Zix. He's probably more of a warrior, so we'll see what he does want to do, but Nautilus and a Hecarim are the next 2 picks for Vici.
I mean, now we're talking about real tankiness coming through from Vici. You see a Kha'Zix, you don't want any resets coming through in terms of that jump ability, the E that Kha'Zix has. So you just go for the tankiest lineup possible. And Imp, yep, everything's viable. Insta-lock with the Misfortune. Again, going to see something different.
Oh, and there's the Shyvana. I thought we might be seeing it from Flame. I'm assuming that's who it's for, given that we already have a Kha'Zix, but those summoners do not lie there for LGD Flame. He's going to be mixing it up, and we talk about him playing a bit more carry style. The Smite Teleport Shyvana might be a bit more in Flame's wheelhouse.
And look, if Kennen is the most trademark of champions for Flame, Shyvana's a close second, so well known for freezing waves, building up massive 100+ CS advantages onto this Shyvana. Of course, the lane swap meta came in and everything changed a little bit, but now with Shyvana, we've already seen the top lane Smite Teleport Shyvana twice. Now has changed over the Ignite, so maybe be looking for a counter combat summoner against the Hecarim. Flame on Shyvana. It's not Kennen, but it's pretty damn good.
No, and Twisted Fate and Urgot are the last 2 picks for Vici. So we're going to see a Tong's Twisted Fate. We've seen quite a bit of it recently, and it's been fantastic. But Vasily, again, has the Graves ready, has the Lucian, has the Sivir if they wanted it again in this comp, but instead goes for the anti-carry Urgot. We've never seen him play this.
And you just look down this Vici lineup. There is no one to kill as Kha'Zix. Everyone is going to stack armor. So they're going to look for a magic damage mid lane here. Ryze is in a bit of popularity. Of course, Korn pulled it out earlier this week. Dade tried it a few weeks ago. I really don't want to see the Talon come through. He's going to lock in Riven.
Well, I don't think Godby really cares. He's going to play whatever he wants today, apparently, or LGD. Another ragtag T-com kind of glued together with a bit of scotch tape. But we'll see if LGD can make it work. They somehow pulled out Game On with some sick scaling, but I don't really know what this team comp does yet, Papa Smithy.
I mean, this team comp has fun, Pastry Time. That's all I can say. They've not really necessarily gone for a true team comp in this situation. You don't see setup for the bullet time necessarily. Don't see a lot of magic damage coming through except for the abilities coming through from the Shyvana. The Kha'Zix has literally no one to get a reset on because everyone's a tank coming through from Vici Gaming. Look, they made me a believer in the first game. At least there was some semblance of logic coming through from those picks. But this is solo queue central.
Well, let's go through some of these matchups. Hecarim in the top, up against Shyvana with the Smite Teleport. There's Rexo versus Kha'Zix, bit more normal. Dandy seems to be the only one playing normal champions in air quotes there. Twisted Fate versus Riven, though. This, to be fair, is a counter matchup for Wayless.
It's definitely a counter matchup. It just doesn't necessarily help the team comp to have another physical damage dealer. In the bot lane, look, Imp plays the Misfortune. I can see your amusement at the pick. Misfortune is a lane bully, but so is the Urgot. Misfortune actually will have a lot of advantage at levels 1 to 2, and then of course Urgot will really start getting going when he gets a couple of points in his Acid Hunter. Does a lot of magic damage on the bullet time now, especially as they change the way that ability works. No longer can you just go Bloodthirster, Last Whisper, and blow people away in an AoE. Can be a lane bully, but Urgot, he takes away a lot of fun when it comes to AD carry lane bully.
Yeah, and Imp, we've said it before, whenever he insta-locks an AD carry, he's usually feeling confident. I believe he's won every game where he's insta-locked his AD carry, starting with Vayne and finishing with Ashe from the last game. Basically insta-locked the MF here. I don't know if he can do it, but let's find out. Welcome back to the LPL, of course. Our last game of the evening with LGD currently up a game against Vici. They did it in a pretty stylistic fashion in Game 1 with the Ashe and the Cassidy, but they've gone even further off the deep end, Papa Smithy.
And in Week 10, our first week on patch 5.6, we started in the deep end with a Vladimir versus Karma lane. We've moved to an Ocean as far as I can tell. Or maybe we're in the kiddie pool. I guess we'll find out as we have some more off-meta picks. LGD going for a very aggressive early invade. With the Smite Teleport, you always want a bit more predictability on where Flame will be starting, where the jungle follow will be happening. You have to expect a lane swap in this situation because honestly, as a Shyvana with Ruby Crystal and a couple of potions, you can do a whole hell of a lot of jungling before you have to enter lane.
Yeah, you can see a lot of early warding there, scouting out for LGD, because you know that Vici are looking for the flame swap. Everybody swaps on this guy, and you can tell why. He's, again, one of the best-known 1v1 carry top laners to ever play, actually, in the game, and nobody ever wants to give lane that solo lane.
I mean, if you're taking the Smite Summoner spell, before you finish a Cinderhulk item, you're certainly not losing that for any sort of combat stats in lane. You're happy for a lane swap in this situation because you're going to burn down camps. Usually you want to start on a Gromp as Shyvana just because, again, it gives her even more AoE push because every time a minion aggroes you, it takes the Gromp debuff damage from the Smite. So in general, they're going to start and hold back as we see, yep, the red buff start and the lane swap, it's been initiated.
Yeah, we start vertically here. Carry going to do the Raptors on LGD's side of the map, but again, just has the Flask, so will go back and spend his extra gold whenever he feels happy. Dandy taking away the red flames, already finished the Grump, and might even look to go somewhere else, but the lane swap has been started here, and you have to think Misfortune's at least happy to get away from Urgot.
They're just going to watch the path in. Will they try and share experience on the Raptors? Will they go for other camps? Hard to say. No, they're going mid.
Really good gank there onto Godby, flashing away as the Riven Flames here as well, but TBQ also coming around the side, uses the slow there with a W, and Riven somehow gets away.
So that was a massive gank into the mid lane. No one falls crucially. It looked like LGD might have taken too defensive a path to meet lane, but Godby couldn't be taken down. And Twisted Fate, he does have a level advantage. He is able to control this wave at least early, but as you mentioned, when that gold card is on cooldown, especially, a lot of kill pressure coming through from the Riven.
And look, it's so smart from Vici to early gank this mid lane because when you have these lane swaps, what's the other thing we talk about? Mid lane isolation. That's exactly what Riven wants. So Vici break the isolation for a little while longer, but they can't do that too many times.
No, they can't do that too many times. And you have to feel on some level this game is on a timer for LG just because even Vasily on Urgot is going to build a Frozen Heart and build a huge armor stack. There's going to be so much armor coming through. See Flame actually smiting a minion for lane control. What a world we live in.
I mean, Flame, if this is what the meta's come to, he's probably quite happy that Smite Teleport Shyvana is a thing. It suits him in a lot of situations. He gets to just be a menace and farm up as much as he can. We've talked about Flame Shyvana. He's finally playing, although maybe not in the style we thought.
And hilariously, if you auto-attack the Shyvana when she has that Grump debuff, you take a little bit of damage yourself. You lose Trace despite being a range versus melee match. And speaking of range,
here comes Godby now. Twisted Fate in way too much trouble. Flashes actually into the wall, and TBQ picks him up with a spike.
Awkwardly goes to fail Flash, which is that both escape summoners lost. Suddenly, the kill pressure that was looking good for Godby is looking looking real good for this Riven.
Yeah, the classic double there from Hetong, and again that pressure starting to mount here, and Godvy's always been a strong mechanical player. Riven is a champion that certainly suits him on that end.
Actually, there's a reason why people dissect those replays from Faker and look at all the animation canceling. I know you're a big fan of that personally, Page Time. You can get so much done if you're a practice Riven player, and Godvy, he hasn't shown us necessarily the top of his Riven mechanics just yet, but I'm sure he'll have a chance to shine.
You know what? Welcome to Godvy's 19th unique champion then. Again, trying to deepen the pool. Maybe there's a competition going on as Mata finds Flame here. Hook does land in. TBQ in there as well. PYL's going to get the damage in. Mata only level 2 and will go down to Flame. Suddenly, lane is getting kills for LGD.
Absolutely, and the jungle pathing coming through from TBQ is really impressive. That's something we've consistently talked about for Dandy. Always seems to be in the right spot at the right time. Speaking of Dandy, he's looking to dive Imp in this situation. They're going to have to be careful. Remember, they do have an Ignite for this dive.
Imp does have his summoners. Here comes the Prey Seeker down as well. Carrigan moving. Imp already used the heal. Hatong is down here. His own knockup comes through, and Dandy, an easy tower dive for the Rek'Sai.
It wasn't that easy. It was actually a very smart adaptation for Imp. Used his heal proactively to stop the Ignite from cutting off half that heal, but still were able to get just the right amount of turret shots onto their members. Very nice dive coming through. Dandy, he buys a bit of pressure for the bottom lane, but still, 2-1. It feels like things are looking good for LGD.
Yeah, Misfortune, certainly a champion that, without her flash in particular, very easy to gank. No gap closes, isn't mobile, even stands still and channels that ulti when she has to use it. So divers can't get onto her. Not too many of those here for Vici, but between Urgot CC and Rek'Sai dive and the Nautilus CC, probably enough here for Vici. Never mind, we've got Hecarim in there as well.
And with the double longsword, I'm not sure if it's going to be a Brutalizer rush or if he's looking for just a bit more lane pressure. The two bits of AD in that situation. Obviously had less than 800 gold from his shop, you'd have to assume, with the purchases he went for. But again, Misfortune is a lane boy, does a lot of trade damage in the early game. Hecarim has the Ninja Tabi though, that will do a lot to move away some of the damage from it.
Yeah, Dandy now going to clear out the Scuttle Crab for himself as Imp has been joined back with PYL. PYL quite low on levels, only level 2 here on the Janna, but they'll return to the dual lane and apply a bit more pressure to Carry, who might look to swap back here. A bit of an early swap back here for LGD, at least moving PYL back, but they want to make sure they have enough presence around the Dragon.
I mean, speaking of presence, you have to think Twisted Fate, when he does an AoE wave to clear, he's going to just leave lane whenever possible. Like, A, to threaten the Destiny, but B, just to have a chance to you know, remove kill pressure coming through from Godby. Already has quite the AD stack, actually goes back and finishes his Tiamat. Suddenly, you use that card for mana sustain, you use a blue or red card, there's immense kill pressure for Godby.
Yeah, Riven level 6 now with the Tiamat super quickly finished up here. I mean, Marta going to try and find something, but Hetong's going to use that ulti. Great flash from PYL, but it might not be so lucky. He has his flash. Will finally use it now after getting stunned. Very smart play.
Yeah, the Dredge line, very long cooldown. Couldn't even flash auto in that situation because wasn't in range for it. Very smart disengage. They blow both flashes, so it's still a successful Destiny to some degree. And Flame, he's finding camps wherever he can.
Look who's back. It's Flame walking into the enemy jungle, taking away camps. Flame probably feels reinvigorated, relit, if you will, here in this game, because he is playing exactly in his home.
And you just know the moment that Flandre brought this out, there'd be plenty of people around the world that would take a leaf out of his book and try and do the same thing. It's basically, again, shades of Darien many years ago, but with the Bami Cinder now building into Cinderhawk without really losing any laning statistics. You know, so many great things coming out from that item. You can do so much work and you can wreck the enemy jungle and try and hold Dandy behind.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, Smite's obviously the adaptation they're needed and gives you a bit of extra pressure. Is Godby going to find Dandy? Tremor Sense spots him off. Very smart stuff for Dandy, and unfortunately for Riven, not going to commit to the kill. Worried about the rotation.
I mean, speaking of rotation, he's now going bottom. He's been pinged out a couple of times, yes, and spotted by a pink ward. It looked like they were a bit too overextended in bot, but they back away, and nothing is able to be gained from Wayless.
A decent roam, but Hatong there didn't have his ultimate, did have Ghost, so maybe that's what Godby was worried about as far as collapses go, but could have probably pulled the trigger and gotten the kill onto Rek'Sai. And we talk a little bit about junglers. Of course, the Smite required for that Cinderhulk enchant, so Flame can get the jungle item, but the nice thing, he got some good deep wards down there, and then Smites the Wolf Spirit, which gives him even more vision in that side of the jungle.
As you expect, very good mechanic coming through from Flame, very good knowledge even of this very new thing in terms of Smite top laners, and able to regularly pick up CS. It's not necessarily grown a CS lead compared to his direct opponent, as Hecarim has found plenty of CS after picking up the very early Ninja target. But after all the pathing, it should be the first Dragon coming through from Vici.
And this is a poor swap in vision here for LGD, although TBQ will find in. Flame is coming in. It's going to be too low to smite it. Dandy will get it, but they're going to dive in. Godby gets swapped back in and just deleted there by Dandy. Carry coming in as well. Imp channels his ulti, gets some low. Flame in the backline trying to fight, but he's peeling off now onto Hetong. Mata on top of him, though, going to take him out. PYL's the next target. Double kill there for Vasily. Might be a triple as PYL's going to go down, and yes, it is. Flame still fighting in the sides on Shyvana, but he can't do anything else, and that's 4 kills for Vici.
The Ghost came up big for Twisted Fate, but the dive continues. Mata actually picks up the kill call. Delayed ace coming through for Vici. We said they would eventually outscale LGD. They're already beating them early, and that's a concerning thing if you're a fan of LGD.
Yeah, to lose the first Dragon with 2 smites on your team and Flame having his teleport up, not what LGD would have wanted for their early game. And again, they had some great early pressure, good ganking, especially from TBQ, as we're going to see this again.
So Godby comes in range of the Hype Connect position reverser and gets basically collapsed upon. Her tongue stuns him up with the gold card. Godby, the only person who really snowballed, had most of the team's gold, dies instantly. Imp channels the ultimate in the backline, but doesn't really have the AD to back it up. This isn't the Misfortune bullet time of old, and her tongue's masterful with his use of Ghost. Always looking for another gold card, actually off screen. We'll eventually see Mata pick up a kill, but off screen, Flame, very smart, and continues to fight around Flame with the gold card. It's just great Twisted Fate mechanics. 4-0 on this champion, and even with all the craziness, doing good things here.
That's what we've seen from Hetong, is strong Twisted Fate play, and Vici playing around it. This is much more what we expected from Vici's early games. Even though LGD had a great start to their early jungle pressure, in particular, PYL in trouble. Vasily just going to clean it up. Ulti from Twisted Fate not needed.
Yeah, Destiny only used for vision that situation. Actually went top, but couldn't get the kill onto Flame. Wasn't sure where he was going with that ultimate. Gets pressure, keeps Carry's life away, but of course, Riven, as an AD champion, builds AD, has a lot of turret damage coming through when you're building AD as an AD mid laner, so you get a good chunk onto bit, but not enough to take it down.
Yeah, good damage there, but not enough. So we'll see what Riven can do when she can't keep pressuring Twisted Fate. That's what happens if Hetong is allowed to leave the lane. That's bad news here, and that's exactly what Vici want. Get the rotations happening, start getting some kills, and already a fairly strong gold lead for Vici with about 2,500 gold.
So one of the ways you can punish a Twisted Fate, of course, is taking down his turret. And while Riven, one of the highest 80 seconds, is great at turret damage, finds Dandy though.
Yeah, diving in on there. The gold card's going to come through. Godby going to have to get away there. Broken Wings third Q will hop him out reasonably far. Flash is forced out though as well, and Hetong starting to take over the lane with the help of Dandy.
And that's the second flash he has to use defensively, and what we touted as a counter matchup for Riven against Twisted Fate. So things definitely not going to pan for Godby. But one thing I wanted to bring up, oh my goodness, it looks like we're going to see a turret dive.
Yep, LGD going for the dive now. Carry's actually used his ulti onto Imp, who's up in the top side. He swapped his way there, but Carry going to find too many members. Does kill Imp instead. Actually gets, no, that's TBQ getting the kill, so the trade will come through. PYL low, though, has to go back to base, and Mata going to try and find him. Can he get in there? Going to recall. No, not in time, and Mata gets the next kill.
Dredge line to death by the supporterless, I guess you could say. Hetong coming to top, isn't able to find a kill, already used his Destiny, could have popped the Ghost, I believe, but decides to hold on to that cooldown.
And Flame going to go in onto Vasily, but Vasily does decent damage. We'll swap him in there for a bit of extra resist, but Flame diving straight on top of him. Vasily can't really go anywhere, no flash or heal to speak of. Flame going to move back in though, and Vasily just too much damage.
Yeah, Vasily didn't have the mana for any more abilities though. Of course, was able to reduce Shyvana's damage with the passive, which is doing a lot of work in that situation. You can tell by the fact that he fell to below 200 health, but he lives, and that's the critical factor.
Yeah, the low armor values or no armor values on Flame early on, just the Cinderhawk Skirmisher Saber finished up now. Thought he could take on Vasily, did a good amount of damage, but got respectable damage when he lands that E.
Misfortune, though, not doing massive amounts of damage. You can't just stack armor penetration anymore because you do magic damage based on your W scaling, I believe, is how Misfortune works now. So definitely needs to work up towards at least a Bloodthirster to do teamfight relevant damage, I'd say. Carries in the mid lane. He's picked up a lot of CS in this situation as Hetong already starts the split push.
Yeah, Hetong is moving around there, but this is what Vici want. Take out 2 towers already, work on the third outer. It's actually mid lane that they're looking for, but instead Hetong will try and apply some side wave pressure. Mata and Carry trying to get Riven out of there, actually, as Imp's also rotated in, and Dragon back in a minute 35. Both teams frisky for vision, because right now there is none.
And Vici's rotations around Twisted Fate leaving the base is Godby. Bit of a dandy there when it comes to not being able to get over a wall. Sorry, Dandy, that is a thing now after all those failed Nidalee jumps. Vici have been so good at rotating around the Twisted Fate leaving lane, because Rek'Sai, of course, has so many tunnels invariably around mid because of the way he's tunneling through to his camps, that he's been able to hold the lane. We just saw Carry in the lane, and now they're rotating to mid and taking down this outer turret. It'll be a third outer turret. That's at a much better clip for Vici Gaming. 13 minutes, 3 outer turrets. That sounds about right.
And this is exactly what we'd expect for Vici, yeah, like you mentioned. So we'll see what LGD can do here. Kind of backs against the ropes here in the early stages. Gold League growing now as Dredgeline will go just wide there, looking for TBQ, I believe. But Dandy popping in, using that vision. And you can see the difference when he gives Dandy one of his big champions. I mean, Rek'Sai might be his best. As Tong going to pop that ulti. Again, just needs some vision.
Yeah, the Destiny onto Imp, though, was used. Imp had to flash away, so now has his flash on cooldown. We talked about no escape AD carries last game with the Ashe, but no difference with the Misfortune.
No, and Imp, again, picking himself into some interesting situations in this series, but clearly wants to play these champions. Whether he's having fun or, just wants to do something different, we'll have to see. But his Ashe was fine come the late game. Misfortune doing okay as well. But Vici are just playing, I think, much more confident and at a much faster pace.
But he's opted into a very early game-centric build with the Brutalizer into perhaps the Yomas, maybe just going to go to the Bloodthirster. Needs to make it pay off early because the power play isn't there late as here's the face check.
Yeah, River coming in. Vasily, though, immediately ultimates Godfrey going to keep looking in. The combo moving in, but Dandy coming through nicely. Good double knock up there from the Q, but too much damage and Wind Slash not enough to kill Vasily. Dandy gets it instead. Now Flame coming back down, but Marta's here as well. There's the ulti coming through as Flame tries to drag in his way out, but Exhaust will come down for Marta. Dandy will chase in, and her Tong will get that kill.
Yeah, Tong had the gold card prime, used the Ghost that time. They do rotate to mid and pick up a counter kill, but the kills start to stack here for Vici Gaming. Carry able to farm in the top lane during all of this. 11 threes to kill score, and TBQ has to back away from blue.
Forced out of his jungle there by Vici, and that blue should go over to her Tong. TBQ actually should be careful. It doesn't want to face check Marta. Uses his ulti actually with TBQ and tries to hop away. Good slow there as the Tong's looking for the gold card, but a great tornado will zone them off, so PYL will fend them away, but Carry's potted in. PYL will get taken out by Vasily Zergot, who just pokes him out with an Acid Hunter, and Dragon's up. Dandy's already started it.
12 to 3. This should be the second Dragon coming through. It's already being prepped here by Vici and Dandy in particular. 2 Dragons, 3-1 in turrets. Again, much more the speed we expect from Vici, despite all the carnage and picks and bans from LGD.
Yeah, so first Dragon a little late. No, that's the second. That would be wise. Vici have picked up the 2 Dragons now, and much cleaner play. Absolutely here for Vici Gaming. Looking good as far as objectives go here. We've got Zhonya's Hourglass coming through now for Twisted Fate. Trinity Force almost completed. I like the early home guard enchantment there from Carry on his Ninja Tab by his own. Urgot coming through nicely, and I have to say, I didn't expect Urgot to be a Vasily champion, but he's done very well so far.
You have to think things are only going to get better for Vici Gaming when it comes to scaling. Basically all AD with incidental damage coming through from Flame in terms of base magic damage values means they're going to be able to stack armor in the late game. So again, we needed a big advantage for LGD in just the early to mid game. Of course, Riven, very strong in terms of laning. It's lost lane, you'd have to say, despite being 14 CS advantage. We already saw when Carry from Vici Gaming, the very noted top lane, top lane Riven player. Actually, there's the Destiny.
Yeah, gold cut coming through. Imp now in trouble as Carry just cleans him out. PYL forced to flash away there as well as Tong, wreaking havoc now with these Destinies.
But we've already seen the struggles of Riven in a teamfight scenario. Maybe they won't ever teamfight with Riven, as we see Godfrey has taken a turret as a sideway push.
Going to try and split push here, but Danny going to come in again. Smited actually with the Chilling Blade. Is that Stalker's Blade coming in handy? Godfrey forced to flash. Will get away. Going to queue over that ridge this time. We'll make it there. Doesn't Dandy it up. Even though Dandy's watching there, trying to be like, come on, do it, get into the wall. As the Tong now getting chased in. Flame going to go in over the top. TBQ coming through there with the slow onto Marta. Is going to try and take him out as the first kill. Ultimate though used as well. Tong zoning out nicely, and Carry once again, right place, right time. Coming around the back. Tong getting low. Flame going to get the double kill on Shyvana. So going big on the Dragon, but Carry still going to fight in. Dandy now in for reinforcements as Godfrey's rotated through as well. Flame will get out, and this Shyvana could be the X Factor.
And clearly not doing ignorable magic damage. 17 minutes in with the double kill and actually harassing Carry enough that he backs away. That's a big win there for the Shyvana. Starts to get going between the Burnout and the Cinderhawk. Cinderhawk will be doing a lot of AoE magic damage. Doesn't have a big purchase to his name yet outside of that item, but after the double kill, probably going to be farmed up.
Yeah, and items here, kind of the problem across the board for LGD Flame. Probably happy to get a nice injection of gold as Godby gets ulted there by Vasily. Will get tagged by the E. Carry's at it again here, and Riven can't do anything. Vasily with a 6th kill.
Yeah, Carry didn't have the ultimate available, has it now, and also the gold for Trinity Force, so we'll back and pick up that item. Vasily, as you mentioned, he likes the aggression, he likes the short range. Perhaps we shouldn't be surprised that his Urgot, not bad at all.
No, seems to suit him to a T, and it's been playing fantastic so far. Manamune, sorry, charging up nicely. Frozen Heart already completed. The Trinity Force is done for Carry at 4-1-4. Has been influential in these last few skirmishes. Hetong kind of lagging behind, but he's got 8 assists, just helping around the team with that Destiny.
And we can confirm that Vasily does have 40% CDR, so Runes and Mastery is helping him out to that 40%. Already doing a lot of damage. Destiny pops.
Oh, Flame now in trouble, but he's fairly tanky on the Shyvana. We'll get locked up. We'll dive in with the ulti. TBQ gets exhausted as he comes in as Imp channels his ultimate. PYL trying to make it done, but Hetong and Dandy will dive in onto Imp and take him out. Vasily with another kill there. Flame now going to be the next target as Godby trying to make it go massive here, but too much CC for the Riven, and that's 4 straight kills. Make it 5 as Carry dives for the ace.
Too much CC. We're talking about suppression. 4 CCs from the Nautilus and also the gold card from Twisted Fate. They're going to keep pushing. They'll break the base. There's still 10 seconds till Imp is alive. Had his flash available, but could do nothing as a misfortune in a team fight. Marta tanks it up, and Vici, this might be an unassailable lead.
Yeah, Vici Gaming, much more the speed we're used to seeing from them recently. Atong red cards away the minions to clean them out. Just the inhibitor turret, not the inhibitor itself. So going to be a little sad to not get that objective, but 9,000 gold ahead already. And it's just nothing as far as items go for LGD. So far behind now.
And we talked about those armor purchases. Frozen Heart, going to be another Frozen Heart coming through from Nautilus. Of course, Urgot already has his. Zhonya's gives armor. Randuin's is now completed by Dandy. And the Glacial Shard into what could assume to be a 3rd Frozen Heart coming through from Hecarim. The armor stacking is on, and LGD, they have no answers. No time, no gold values for the Last Whisper that's so desperately needed.
And that's certainly one of the things that you pointed out in the draft, that LGD just is a little awkward with their comp. So much AD damage here with an AD mid laner added in last as well. Flame, I guess, doing some magic damage here, now assaulting onto Carry, but Flame, he's actually looked quite good this game with Shyvana, I have to say, but not been given the room because Vici rotating way too well, and Godby almost suicide pushing at this point. Going to be another kill, and who's going to get it but Vasily? He wants it, but Dandy going to dive in. The Acid Hunter's coming through, and yes, it is. Vasily gets it again.
And Vasily continues to pad his stats. Honestly, should look to give it to some other people. He's not item capped, but definitely has a lot of the items that Urgot needs to be team fight relevant. At this point, doesn't really need the gold. That's a scary thing to say about an AD carry, but has a very low item ceiling, a bit like a Blue Ezreal, as Destiny's pop.
Yeah, TBQ can't be invisible there with the Destiny revealing him. Atong going to move in. Dandy going to come through as well. Another gold clock going to get lined up. Good flash away from TBQ. Will keep him safe. Hextrick is saving his life, but Dandy going to come back in, dives in on top of him and just takes him out. No tunnel left. Dandy so tanky though, and Flame, he wants it. He's going to dive in. Great knock up there from Dandy. Flame going to get ulted by Vasily. Dandy just too tanky, and another kill for Vasily.
And that's the sort of team play we would not see in week 1, week 2 Vici Gaming, but the last second heal keeps Dandy alive. He had flash available. Hetong did not when it came to the turret dive. They get everything, and that's just been the story of Vici Gaming in this second game. They've out-rotated LGD. They out-picked them, and the last pick, Riven in particular, lost lane against the Twisted Fate. That's pretty awkward for Wayless.
I don't know about lost lane to Twisted Fate. Lost lane to Dandy is probably a fairer comparison for this game.
Lost lane to the Vici pressure, you'd have to say. They played around what is, on paper, a terrible matchup for Twisted Fate. Low base stats, doesn't really want to build armor until a second item Zhonya's. Very, very well.
Vasily, though, going to go for the 1v1, but Godby probably shouldn't be in here. Vasily's so strong at this stage of the game, and he'll be collecting this kill, you have to think. An 11th for Vasily, and I'll say this as a compliment. Vasily, he's actually very good at kill securing.
He's very good at kill scoring. 11-0-4. Not 100% kill participation like he had in the previous game, at least towards the 30-minute mark, as Carry's big.
Early ulti there for PYL. I think tried to move Carry away, but it's just going to maybe be another notch in Vasily's belt. Does get it again. Let's make it 12.
12-0-4. The KDA for Urgot looking pretty good for Vasily. At this point, you think LGD's probably given up. They have no realistic chance of coming back into the game. And that's after a game where they had Ashe and Cassidy need to scale up to the late game. There's just no upside coming through from this game. A slight CS advantage for Misfortune and for the Riven. You know, just a couple of CS, but just the comp and the armor stacking doesn't make for good reading for an LGD fan.
And now TBQ going to get ulted there by Vasily. Destiny used down again for Vision. No ulti going to keep you out of that one. And Vasily Gets another kill. Not too surprised at this point. Dragon also goes to Dandy. That's the third actually for Vici. So Hetong even scarier with the Ghost moving in. And poor Princess Flame, man. He had such a good start to the game. Everything was going well. He's had his Shyvana. Looked great actually in the situation he was left in. And just too far behind.
It'll be very interesting to see the player cam of Flame, of course, because we remember back when there were those all-star games, looked very disappointed when people weren't try-harding even in a show match. In this situation, with some of these picks, you wonder how hard LGD are trying, but there's the engage.
Good double knockup coming through. Imp there with the ulti, but Godby gets exhausted. Windslash, not enough, but Flame's going to try and make the difference. Vasily still alive somehow as the double kill goes over to carry. Flame's going to get CC'd for days here as he's trying so hard. Hetong even juking back in with a card. Dandy will find him. Carry going to run in as well. Someone's going to get the kill eventually, and it is Dandy.
Yeah, for once not Vasily, but it's another delayed ace coming through. TBQ has respawned after getting picked off. There's a pause, I guess, maybe to talk strategy coming through. But this is a one-sided game if there ever was
I think
one.
Flame may have fainted in his chair, and they're trying to revive him during the pause. No, apparently it's PYL that has the issue. It says LGD should feel quite flabbergasted at this point for the game they just had with some crazy picks, managing to finally pull it out. Vici, I guess, got sent a message there in that game one because they are really pushing into LGD in this second one.
I mean, they've definitely woken up. A lot more meta picks, a lot more Vici picks, I guess you could put it, coming out of Vici Gaming. The Twisted Fate in particular has been their most successful champion in recent weeks. You see the return to priority of carry on the Hecarim. That's definitely one of his strongest champions. You know, prioritizing over things like Marta's Janna, which is very, very surprising for me. Vasily, he's the one with the new champion pick this game, but you can see Urgot definitely one to fit into his repertoire.
And I don't know if you guys caught Dandy at the end of game one, but he was very upset. Looks a bit different now during the pause, hanging out. Looks much more animated in this game, and I wonder why.
I mean, you have to think that dropping 2 points in this situation after losing that first game, you know, maximum of 1 point for this series for Vici Gaming means that when it comes to the second spot, they might have lost their hopes to be able to get the second spot. They needed results to go their way and secure the 9 points. I believe they can now only be tied with Snake at second place. So it's not looking the best in that regard. The chase for second's not looking that hot for Vici Gaming, but this game's certainly looking great for Vici.
Yeah, this is the form what we've seen from Vici in the last few weeks. Teams might look at that game one and be like, what happened there to Vici? Because this is night and day as far as games go. Dandy still counter jungling as well, aggressively 5-0 and 10 on the Rex side. Waiting in the tunnel, was hoping to get a kill. Will tunnel back in now as Hetong going to make the difference. TBQ again, can't get out from under that Destiny with the reveal. Carry going to move it, gets himself another kill. Now starting to rack up KDA amongst everyone. There's the double coming through for Hecarim as well. And LGD, not a whole lot of options left as Carry. Going to dive back in. Godby trying to get out on the river, but Hetong chasing him with a gold card, trying to make it happen. But Dandy training towards the Nexus. Vici are just going to try and win the game.
And they should be able to, 25 minutes into the game. This is more the Vici we know, finishing it early, getting a lot of tower damage in between Twisted Fate and the Urgot, and this should be the game.
This game it will be. Here is Hetong working on it. Everyone else from Vici just kind of running interference. Him getting very low as Vasily gets another kill on Urgot. Not too surprising at this particular stage. Flame now getting CC'd up as well. Hetong working on the Nexus, needs a bit of help with his friends. Too busy patting those KDAs. Dandy somehow still alive. Vasily going off here on the Urgot with about 15 kills in this game. Princess Flame will fall last there. Can't make it back to the tower in time. And Vici Gaming in a very different game to take it in style.
Yeah, Vici Gaming completely smashed LGD off the map. They managed to make the Ashe and Cassidy work in game one, did LGD, but in game two, bit off more than they can chew. The Riven last pick was definitely outthought and outfought by a Vici Gaming lineup. They were very proactive in that mid lane, stopping even at level 1 the Riven from having any aggression in that lane. It didn't get any better reading for LGD fans. It's a very one-sided game comes through for Vici.
See, everybody is smiling. LGD, I think, quite possibly having some fun with themselves in this series, but picked up a win as a result with some very unconventional picks. And who knows? I mean, playoffs are around the corner. We've got one last week of the regular season of the split here to play for the LPL. Things are getting very serious all of a sudden. It's all fun and games right now in week 10 with 5.6 and Im's playing Ashe and doing all these other things, but that will not last very long.
I mean, the playoffs definitely will be completely serious. You have to wonder about week 11 though, as we might start seeing previews of finals matches. How many strategies do you show? How many more champions are there to get to 124 to catch them all, the Pokemon of the LPL that comes through? There's going to be some more creative picks next week. You have to think, but week 10, what a week it was.
Yeah, week 10's been absolutely incredible. So thank you for everyone that joined in. But for myself, Papa Smithley, Atlas Spawn, and our entire live production crew, we'll see you for our last week. Next week, week 11's coming up.